Okay. Thank you, Chair and honorable members. The question is on page 13 and 12 and 13. That it talks about, we have two figures. One is 1.9 and the other one is 1.8. 1.8 is what we actually transfer to Treasury, and the other one is how much we collected for the whole year. So the difference between those two represents our cash at bank at the close of the financial year.
The new system, all this NTR goes to Treasury single account. Do you retain some at the source?
It was not yet implemented. It is a new arrangement.
No, sir. Yes. We have been around.
We are now, we have transited to URA. We are now using URA to collect on behalf of the hospital, implying that whatever they collect goes to the consolidated fund. But originally,
so can we go to cash
but Chair, it's not clear. My name is Tayewa. I'll not introduce myself.
Where do you come from?
I'm a member of Parliament for Kashonji constituency in Churura district and a member of this committee. Okay. Chair, at what point do you recognize as money transferred to Treasury? Whether it's collected through your A or whether it's collected by you, at what point in your books do you indicate that this money is transferred to Treasury? Because whether it's collected by your A, as long as it is recorded in your books and your A transfers to Treasury, then you indicate it as money transferred to Treasury. But if you correct and then you say, I have corrected so much, but 120 million is not transferred, then it means it's still with you.
Second Chair.
Yes, Honorable Choma.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Choma Zava MP and the North and a member of this committee. Relatedly, because you said you hadn't gotten on the system to transfer immediately, couldn't you use the same way you transferred the 1.86 billion, transfer that balance? Why would you remain with it? It is in addition to what the Honorable Taibo has already raised.
Yes, your observation is right, Honorable Member, and the one from Kashari. What I have said, we keep transferring money as it hits our account. There is a standing instruction which was there in the bank, and these people or the bank transferred the money on our behalf. But at the end of it all, at the end of the year, at the end of 30th June, we had some money which remained on the bank account, which is recognized as part of our money, but later on it went to the bank.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable Wanda.
I don't seem to understand this. The standing instruction to the bank, is it about sweeping the entire account or a specific amount? What is the nature of the standing instruction?
It is about sweeping the account. Whatever is there is supposed to go to.
Yes.
Yes.
So what happened? Because if the instruction is that sweep everything.
Dates, we are talking about different dates. I'm talking about 30th June. By the time we closed that financial year, we had 120 million, which was later on transferred to UCF.
Can we proceed? Honorable Fidra, you didn't introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Afidra Ronald from Lower Madi, a committee member. Madam Chair, even as we proceed on the last submission from the accountant, I seem to get confused. at the end of every financial year, money goes back. But this is different from the 183, which by intention you did not transfer it together with the 1.8 billion. So what you're actually saying is, finally, has this money gone back to the single treasury, or later on when it was being swept because it was the end of financial year, that's how it went? There's intention versus something here.
I don't know where we are. 183. 183. Yes, these are two different versions of our platforms. The one from the single treasury account, that one automatically goes back, is swept back. Immediately. We reach 30th June. That money goes back immediately. But this is local revenue, money which is collected by the hospital, not from GOU to Butabika. So at the close, as I've indicated, we had that money. So we had to recognize it, but it went back because by the time we closed, we had some balance which was cash at bank.
But not differently. Don't you think you actually denied some other accounting officers who had bills to clear, okay, but they were lacking funds? Because you see, the consolidated fund is like a basket. When you collect, other people collect, they put it there and they start discharging the invoices by different accounting officers. And this was at their end, right? Are we aware that some accounting officers' invoices couldn't be settled because of lack of funds? Yet for you, you collected funds and you kept these funds on your bank account. Is that being fair to other MDAs?
Chair, I don't know whether it is fair or not, but what we did, we transferred the money because we had the money at that particular moment and it went. So it is the same money.
my brother, refer to the matching concept.
Sure. Yes.
You already told us this money was later transferred,
which is true,
in a subsequent financial year. Sure. The matching concept tells you should match the expenses and incomes of the same financial year. So what I'm asking you is, why would you keep money on your account to be transferred in the subsequent financial year, yet other accounting of other MDAs had invoices to be cleared and couldn't be cleared because of lack of funds, yet for you kept the funds? That's a simple question.
Honorable Susan, as we conclude.
Chair, just a brief one. I just wanted to ask, what was the intention of retaining that balance on your account when you were transferring the other one? It's simply what we want you to clarify here.
Thank you.
There was no intention of keeping it. It is because that money remained at that particular time.
Chair.
Yes, Honorable.
Well, you want us to proceed and we shall proceed. But the simple question that we are putting across here, you know, when you have resources, it is like getting all your budget and you don't spend it. It means you're depriving other entities of what would have been revenue to be spread across. So it is the same thing. You have money collected. Once it keeps moving to the consolidated fund, it helps other entities to discharge their obligations. The intention may have not been there with the other expectations, but holding resources that can help us discharge other obligations by other entities. That is the only issue that we are raising. Thank you.
So, honorable colleagues, we take note of that. It's not lawful. When you close the financial year, you must automatically transfer money to the consolidated fund as long as it's government of Uganda funds. Yeah. So let's go to utilization of GOE warrants. Madam Accounting Officer, the auditor assessed the extent of implementation of the 14 non-payroll outputs with the expenditure of 8.893, for which funds were warranted and utilized, and noted the following. 14 outputs worth 8.9 billion were sampled. All these were not fully quantified. The 14 outputs of a total of 72 activities, and out of the 72, 36 were fully quantified. So these items, you will make a comment of the items that were not quantified, but also to look at the 36 that were fully quantified. 31 were fully implemented and 5 were partially implemented. At least it's quite a good performance, but we need to look at these other activities that were not quantified. Why don't we quantify activities? Half of your activities were not quantified. That means the auditor could not assess whether they were implemented or not. But we are getting the details of those activities as per this, the appendix is going to give them to us. But we need to know, why don't you quantify these activities, and what was your response?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The response here is that many of the activities mentioned, there wasn't a schedule actually attached, but many of the activities were actually quantified.
Now, if there is no schedule that was attached, what did you respond to? Did we respond for a sec? What did we respond to if there are no schedule of the activities that were not quantified?
We attach in Appendix 3, although, Honorable Chair, I would like to apologize. This annual work plan is for this financial year rather than for last financial year. It was just an error, but it looks like this. Most of them are repetitive. So we do quantify in the PBS as shown in the Appendix 3 that is attached. As much as possible.
But so why couldn't the auditor see that? Because, you know, this is an understatement. If there were 72 activities, only 36 that were quantified were fully implemented. That means you have more 30, 20, 29, 28. The auditor could not give an opinion on that. And would, because if you also make a response without, because it's you said, these were not given the details. So what were you responding to? The activities, your response is the activities were quantified. Which activities are those? You have attached Appendix 3. Let's go to Appendix 3 of your response. Honorable colleagues, go to their book and see Appendix 3 of their response of the activities that the accounting officer claims were quantified. And is Appendix 3 there, accounting officer? Oh.
This is how we quantify in PBS.
So you mean the auditor could not see this? Auditor, why didn't you see these items that were quantified on the PBS?
Thank you, Madam Chair. What we do when we are doing an assessment of the performance, what we consider and what we look at are the quarterly performance reports which are submitted to us. And that's what we follow to make an assessment of the performance of the same. So ideally, in their reporting, they're supposed to follow what they input in PBS. But largely, we follow their quarterly performance reports to do our assessment.
Because the accounting officer, do you know what the interpretation of this? Because we are looking for your implementation of the non-payroll activities. And this is where accountability is. You received money to carry out some of these activities and they were not. They were either implemented or not, and give reason. So if out of the 72 activities, the auditor can only assess 36, that means we have a difference of 28. What is the difference? So for those activities, we cannot allocate whether they were fully implemented or not. That is actually 36. You did half. That means if this is 8 billion, 4 point around 4 billion is not accounted for. This is what it implies.
Honorable Chair, would need the auditors to advise us which specific ones. So we attach this to show that we actually do quantify.
But accounting officer, whoever was in charge of this, whoever you attached to respond, I know you do it as a team, but there is a person who is always in charge of interfacing with the auditors. Because this is something, if something of the sort is raised, and the entities seem to not to understand what the auditor is raising, those are justifications and clarifications that would have been given or sought from the auditor at that time before exit. Because I doubt whether the auditor is so incompetent that he cannot interpret what is in the PBS, what is in the quarterly reports, for him to give an informing judgment in regard to this audit query. Otherwise, when you come for accountability, it's basically on how the money you received and how you utilized it. So this shows that we cannot assess the utilization of 4.4 billion, which is 36 of your activities. You have 72, only 36 can be accounted for. The 36 cannot be accounted for. So what we're going to do is, because we are going to have Chirudu National Referral Hospital by around past midday, you are going to keep with the auditor and give an answer on this very matter, because this is something I mean, it cannot be accepted. This means you cannot account for the money that you received. If you cannot quantify items that you are supposed to implement, because one would like to know which are these items. So it is, honorable colleagues, if you may allow, we shall give them some time to clear with the auditor. Once done, we shall give you a few minutes during the presentation of Chirudu for you to give us a feedback on record. Otherwise, we don't have time of calling you in and out.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable Mdimi.
Madam Chair, but we are dealing with audit reports.
Yes.
Which there have been, process is done. So the issue of now, Butabika to sit with auditor.
It seems there is an explanation they are giving of, they have made an attachment of Appendix 3.
So my suggestion and procedure, they should go back and provide the information and bring to us here. Because they can't now open, because they had the exit meeting.
Honorable Chair, the information, their discussion with the auditor is for them to appreciate, because they seem not to appreciate what the auditor was speaking to. There is a query of the outputs that were not quantified. In their response, they are not clear to even the items they are responding to.
Madam Chair, let them process as it is, then it will guide the discussion.
Chair, if I listen to the director very well, the disagreement between the director and the Auditor General should be on the time of reporting. Because the Auditor General says they have a way they are supposed to be reporting, and the director is saying she's not seeing the items that the auditor says are not quantified. That means she must have done work after the time when she was expected to have reported. Is that so?
Sorry, I didn't get the question, Honorable.
I said it looks like the disagreement between you and the Auditor General is that the Auditor General says there was time for you to report. The quarterly reports that you are given is what they base their findings on. And for you, you seem to have reported after you had interacted with them. Is that the case?
No. The quarterly reports, they also I don't know where they pick the quarterly reports from, but the reports are done quarterly. It's not possible to do the reports after the audit has been done.
Our area of divergence is, the auditor is saying this information was picked from your quarterly reports.
And they're available on PBS.
And they're available on PBS. But the auditor could not, from the assessment of your reports, the auditor could not find these items as quantified. You see? But for you are saying these items were quantified. So it is their word against his. That's what I was saying. She's here instead of us, instead of us allowing them to go and reconcile with the auditor. We're like, let us proceed. Then after the auditor, you reconcile with the auditor to be given a final position. Because both documents, we don't have the reports, but we have this is this the report that he's talking about, the appendix? This is the work plan.